Welcome to Union Congregational Church. Whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We are glad to be worshiping together, a congregation gathered in hybrid spaces, full of people of varying identities, but whole and affirmed in God's love and by this church. Whether this is your first or 500th time here, welcome. If it is your first time here, we invite you to fill out a welcome card that is in your pews, and you can place it in the offering plate later in the service. So let us worship God together on this fifth Sunday of Lent. Will you please rise in body or spirit and join me in the call to worship? We are on a journey of faith. We travel with Jesus Christ as our guide. The promises of God shine like a star before us and give us strength for the journey. Still, we become impatient and rebellious along the way. Feed us, God, with the manna of your word. Help us to hear Jesus' teaching and follow his example. Shine in our hearts, O God, with the light of your love. May your presence go with us and remain with us in our play and work, in our resting and our service. Amen. All right. First and last, right? Walter, this is a reminder that Jesus cares for you and wants you to care for others in the same way. All right. And the basin, you were wondering what this is for the dirty towels. Oh, thank you. You're doing mine? Thank you so much. All right. Will you guys pray with me? Should we hold hands? You guys want to hold hands and say a little prayer? Dear Jesus, you showed us how to care for one another. And you care for us. Help us to always remember that. Amen. All right.
Good morning. This morning's reading is from John chapter 13, verses 12 to 18. After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had reclined again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your teacher and Lord, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you." Very true.
Shalom. We've been talking about this Lent. It's a beautiful concept. Well-being for all. Peace with justice. Wholeness of creation. But how on earth do we get there? How do we make it as real as the clothing on our bodies and the food on our plates? We need tools. We need tools to translate it from concept to reality. And today we are reminded that the tools that Jesus chose to work with were not just scroll and word, although he sometimes used those. They were certainly not sword or spear, but instead were towel and basin. Jesus gave us tools that are shaped not in the heat of conviction, but in the delicate touch of those whom we would include in our beloved community. Rather than being hardened by our own convictions or beliefs, or being wedded most to our structure or way of doing things, we would soften our hearts to care first. And only then would we create structures, churches that match our caring, that truly meet the needs of the vulnerable. And so today, instead of using even more words to illustrate what is really an action, a feeling, we're going to try it out. We're going to use the tools that Jesus turned to break us out of our usual patterns, our usual tools, our business as usual, and turn instead to the tools of mercy and compassion, the tools of shalom. And so in a moment, you are going to be invited to come up and to wash your hands and then have them dried by a neighbor. Let us be reminded in this ritual that these simple tools offer us a way of being in the world that embodied the softness, the care, and the mercy that Christ calls us to. Let us be reminded that shalom will not come from our certitude or structures, but rather our commitment to the other, to our neighbors, and from our vulnerability rather than our strength.